Mrs. D on her farm, she planted maize. This is the goat that ate the corn which Mrs. D planted on her farm. This is the leopard that fought the goat that ate the corn which Mrs. D planted on her farm. This is the hunter that shot the leopard that killed the goat that ate the corn which Mrs. D planted on her farm. These are some of the lessons we got when we were in school in our good old days. And today, it is difficult for you to get these lessons within the north and southwest region because of the ongoing crisis that have affected thousands of students and teachers not being able to meet up with their responsibility as to receiving lectures and giving lectures in order to ensure that the world becomes a better place. Albert Einstein once said that the world will only be a better place if those who react when they need to react. And he said those who stay evil or stay silent when evil is being committed, that is what makes them evil. It is not the person who commits evil, but it is he who decides to stay silent when evil is being committed. In all of this, we cannot be say that education must not be used as a leverage into the ongoing crisis. The educational fair has been hijacked in such a way that it has become weaponized, in which many students are unable to have access to good education. We've listened how men and women who went through this same education, they are garnishing today to be very bad and porous, have graduated from these same schools and have good jobs and are now advocating that this same education is bad. We've seen situations where a lot of those people who benefited from scholarship schemes under the same government are still saying that the educational system provided by the government is bad. However the case is, we cannot justify by saying that there is no need for amelioration. Yes, there is need for Cameroon's educational system to be ameliorated to meet up with existing reality, as we are in a rapidly changing world in which dynamics constantly changes. Notes that used to be applicable for 10 years ago can no longer meet their existing realities now. Our educational system needs to be tailored towards meeting of future than meeting of past events. History, they say, it is the study of past events. But when we look at our educational system, one is tempted to ask if the 10 years note that is still being given today as who discovered River Niger Mungo Park is that relevant today in a world that we are looking at iPhone S9, S8 and the different in dynamics of technological advancement. Yes, our kids and in the north and southwest region must be given the right to go back to school. They must be given the right to be protected by the belligerent of those who are advocating for the restoration of the former British Southern Cameroon and those advocating for stability and security within the north, west and southwest region. Regardless of the eye you stand, you should know that the educational sector must be left alone and must not be attacked. Teachers must be given access to teach the children, and teachers must be given access to live freely as they go about their existing reality. The question now is, as Cameroon government pledges or announced that 1,000 teachers within Cameroon, especially in the north and southwest region, have been unable to meet up with their demands in terms of teaching the children and have unjustifiable absence, and which they may be sanctioned if they don't report to their various posts of duties. The question equally now is, what will become of those in Gokitunja division? In Momo, what will become of those in the hardest hit area, especially Kwakwa Nake Bole, which guns are still smoking? How far are they protected, and what will become of them if they return to this area? Can the same minister go back to this area and teach? This is House of Commons with me, Tamai Jarvis. You're welcome back from that break. If you are just joining us, you're watching House of Commons with me, Thamai Jarvis. Happy Sunday to all those of you, especially Madam Esther in Yaoundé, who is a fervent participant. Today's edition, we are looking at government to sanction 1,000 teachers, especially for having unjustifiable absence and not meeting up with their duties. I begin by introducing to you my guest, with whom we are going to have a 1 hour 30-minute discussion as to this effect, as to whether government has a ability to sanction these teachers based on existing reality. But first, let's welcome our guest. Mbaku Jut is a peace journalist and someone that believes in the unity and its development of Cameroon by respecting its diversity and cultural. Mbaku Jut, welcome and thanks for joining us, a promoter of back to school, especially within the ambit of the North and Southwest region is concerned.
Thank you very much, Tamai Jarvis, for having me in this edition. I think it's a very peculiar edition that has to do with schools, like you're rightly introducing there. I'm a passionate person when it comes to issues of education. I equally want to extend Sunday regards to the other members of the panel you're going to introduce shortly. I want to say happy Sunday to everyone watching and pray that Almighty God will see us through. We are already at the end of the year, and I pray that Almighty God who enabled us to start this 2020, we are going to get into 2021 in a very positive note. So far, it's been a challenging year. We're hoping for better days ahead. So thank you very much, and to everyone watching.
Salam alaikum. Of course, here in the studio we also have Mr. Ndibum Emmanuel, who is a civil society activist and is a teacher and someone who understands the dynamics as far as educational sector within the North and Southwest region is concerned. He's been through the thing and the thick and understand what the teachers and the students are going through as far as getting education, which is a fundamental human right in this context of the world that we now live in under the United Nations Charter. Ndibum Emmanuel, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, Tamai Jarvis, and I salute the million viewers of this prestigious program and my co-panelists. Before we dive into real issues, a special greeting to all the Anglophone communities, both in and out of Cameroon. And of course, you know, last week we were in this same studio and we said something about how advanced the Cameroon democracy is. And we are back here today. I just want to make a recap of the fact that that same day was an election day in Cameroon for the regionals. And elsewhere in Ghana, there was a presidential election, which today the winners are already known. And in our so-called advanced democracy, the regionals, we have fights from left and right in different divisions of Cameroon. So that is the country in which we are. And in your editorial, you made mention of, I know we'll be coming back to that, but you made mention, I fell in love with a phrase that you made. Can the secondary education minister go to the war-torn zones and teach? The answer in full blueprint is no. She cannot. She cannot go back to these regions and teach. So they should stop thinking all about themselves and their political positions and think about the security of these teachers.
Thank you very much for joining us. You didn't get the point that I said. Others who use the education for their services are now still contradicting the same education.
Yes, no, I got it. I got it. And you know, these people who are the master planners of this disorder in North and South, they are found elsewhere, not in Cameroon. And if Cameroon were a better place, these are fine brains that we are losing every day. These fine brains would have remained within the confines of Cameroon and I would have been developing Cameroon. But because for one reason or the other, they became fugitives in their own homes. I am not backing evildoers, but I'm telling you that the causes, only the root causes of what sent them out shall be addressed. And if they are addressed and they get back to their nation of origin, they will have something positive to contribute. But before I first, you have asked something very important. You know, yes, you are going to introduce the other member. What you have said is very important. But if I were to steal from the words of Abraham Lincoln, remember, there's always a friend in every enemy. These people we all consider today to be the worst enemies of Cameroon. I think if they are given a better chance to be back in Cameroon, they will do something possible and positive.
Here in the studio, we are also joined by an award-winning panelist who won an award that was on Saturday as he will tell you the category because let me not tell you the category myself. He is a regular panelist here with us. Understand too when we talk about his own area that is being affected within the ambit of the Anglophone crisis. He is from the land of the warrior, which is also badly affected. And welcome, Prince Kotem. It's a privilege to have you here on My Media Prime House of Commons.
Thank you very much, Tamai. A warm afternoon to every televiewer out there, and I look forward for a very open debate. Like you said, I won an award 2 days ago on the category of Young Uprising Entrepreneur of the Pan-African movement.
International award.
An international award. It is with joy that I received that award, but still, with sitting on a panel like this, with a discussion like this, it is so difficult for me to say I'm really glad and delighted with that award to the beam. Why? Because it is because we went to school that we are here today. It is because we went to school that we are able to express ourselves. It's because we went to school that I was able to manage some things, and I'm able to finance or do other things that gained me that award. What about the young people out there? Like you made mention, I'm from the land of the warriors, but particularly Ngokutuja division and Balikumba subdivision in the northwest region of Cameroon. And I will tell you, like many of you out there know very well, for 4 to 5 years today, students have not been going to school. Children have been out of school. Those who really can manage, they will ride up to Ngalim, and that's towards the west region from the northwest region. Others have gone out to other regions. It's really a very very worrying situation as we get out there. But like I said before, I look forward for an open debate with the fellow panelists that are here. I know they are very fine brains that we're going to talk about these things so that we can see how we can contribute to nation building, because it is only through education that we can build our nation, despite the fact that the educational system we have is being highly criticized. But whatever the case, education is a fundamental human right, and this is something that must be respected, because each and every one of us, despite the system of education, despite the academic curriculum, we need education no matter what it means. Even if it means that we keep drawing flowers, which we don't wish or drawing insects and the like, or talk about Mongo Park, the one who discovered sea road to India, and the like, Vasco da Gama, which does not really have anything to do with us, unlike other nations out there, Korea, Japan, America, that we can name, who are busy training engineers, medical doctors and other things. We still here graduating 10,000 students per month for literature, German language, Spanish language, which has nothing to do with us, but it's still a fundamental human right for these children to go to school. And I think we're going to have a very open debate here today. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Mbako Jut, I begin with you. Mbako Jut, we are looking at this topic, government to sanction over 1,000 teachers. Recently, Cameroon's Minister of Secondary Education, Professor Nalova Lyonga Pauline, raised an alarm about that 1,000 teachers in Cameroon, specifically a majority to be coming from the north and southwest region, have abandoned duties. Need to report they have unnecessary absences or unjustified absences. And when we look at this, what does that figure 1,000 tells you as far as the development of the nation is concerned? Because if 1,000 teachers are absent, we know the ratio of a teacher to his class. It therefore means that a great number, about 50,000 or about a certain number of students are out of school and are not being taught. And looking at that impact, what becomes a cross-multiplying effect in Cameroon's development?
Thank you very much, Jervis. The ratio of a teacher, what I know that the current system of operation, school system, academic system of the classroom in Cameroon is one classroom for 60, maximum 60 students or pupils, meaning that if we're to look at it from that ratio, we'll begin to understand how many teachers are needed for. But when you have 1,000, you can now multiply and you see the effect like you're trying to put out. 1,000. It also means that if this 1,000 is specifically for the northwest and southwest region,
majority.
Yeah,
a great over 80%.
You know, even before now, government had a scheme to penalize teachers who abandon duties. Even before now, it's not a new creation. But within the context of the crisis, I think it's peculiar, and government too needs to be strategic in implementing this sanction. When you look across the northwest and the southwest region, I think teachers have been most hit so far since the start of the crisis in 2016. The teachers were one of the first to be tortured. They have been deprived the right by the separatist fighters to go to the classroom. Some of them have been they have been tortured. They have been kidnapped, taken ransom from. Some of them have been killed. Many of them have been killed. And I think that all these tortures are really too much on the teachers. And if government is coming in this time to sanction them, there should be some very credible reason for government to do so, and it should be done with a human face and with plenty of love towards these teachers. They have sacrificed a lot already. Now, Jervis, I think that it is the right of government. It is just but normal for government to put check.
Well, I was coming to ask you if it's right. I just wanted to also look at the cross-multiplying effect and how that will have.
That's
especially in the north and southwest region where you have a great number of these teachers.
If you have 1,000 teachers.
And before that, we have had a situation where teachers abandon duties and go for greener pastures and still receive salaries.
Yes. You see, those are some of the reasons why you see government has to do this check. It's important. Government can also not just fold its arm and say that teachers should do what they like. You have to put those regulatory measures there. But that's why I say that even in so doing, the government has to be strategic and put a human face, because teachers already have suffered a lot in the whole process. And globally, when you look at the educational setup now in the northwest and the southwest region, you will bear with me that the children are suffering, the students are suffering. If you have up to we're talking about 1,000 teachers, then you can now begin to understand the effects on the students, on the pupils. So it is something government needs to take serious and call back the teachers to order. It's true that security is primordial, but we are also thinking that, I am also thinking that some teachers, in one way or the other, like you said in your opening remarks, have been able to use this opportunity to their advantage.
Yes,
it's true. Some areas are badly in need of security for the teachers, but those areas that there are possibilities for these children to teach, how are the teachers there doing? Has government been able to do a good survey on the situation? Then this is a premise where we can now begin to judge on government's actions.
Okay. This is. I want us to look at this first at the level of the cross-multiplying effect before coming to the wider government has the ability to sanction a teacher based on the reality on the ground. You are a teacher. When we look at the cross-multiplying effect, we understand that the teachers are builders of nation. And if we have 1,000 teachers, plus not being able to teach within the context of the crisis, like some from the far north regions and some from the north and southwest region, and looking at others from the other regions which are not in war. What does this figure tell us, the common man, as far as the number of students who are out of school is concerned, or not being able to have access to these teachers?
Well, first I have a problem first with the statistics. When they talk about 1,000, I personally have a question mark. Why do I say so? Because it means it is either the government is not doing its job well statistically as per the teaching staff in the northwest and the southwest, or they are giving us a wrong figure. Take for example GBHS Fundong, which is not operating. If you can succeed to lay a finger on the number of the staff of that school, then you just you decide that you go to each subdivision, you take only two schools that have not been functioning. With the number of teachers or the staffing of that institution, you multiply, it will give you more than 5,000. It will give you more than 8,000. It's something we have tried to do in mathematically. It will give
So
you.
you are saying that the figures should be higher?
The figure should be higher. So if the government is mentioning 1,000, then I think the government is an accomplice to the teachers who are absent on the field. Because first, it should not even be the cry of only the government. It should be the cry of the whole nation that children have been lost in the academic scene.
But the Cameroon government have been crying this. People that Mbaku Jute have championed campaigns as of schools need to resume. Teachers are not teaching. Students are not going to school. Insecurity is there. We should keep school out of the conflict. We should go to school and we should ensure that the schools are protected. And you say they have not been.
Yeah, the government should cry. It's pretense. You know, people like Mbaku, they can champion the campaigns, but they don't have the mechanism to put in place for these things to fall back to order. He is a bona fide citizen of Cameroon, and as a bona fide citizen, he should cry foul for what is not going right. So do I. So you should. Now, who has what it takes to set the ball game in the right direction? Like I said, I have a problem first with the statistic. I wouldn't come here and play lawyers to teachers who have deserted their job site. We will be coming back to that. But as of now, I have a problem. If the government is telling us that they want to sanction 1,000 government, then it is either the government is being an accomplice to the runaway teachers, or there is something that the government is hiding, because there are more than 7,000 teachers or 8,000 absent in Northwest and Southwest, some of which have infiltrated the French zones and are making gains, like my co-panelist first said, and others who have been out of the country. And there are some whom even before this crisis started, they were already out of the country and their salaries were passing with the complicity of high offices in Yaoundé. It's a phenomenon that is very fertile in Cameroon, so we don't even believe
okay.
one.
I want us to now stay in context before coming to Prince. Yeah. We are looking at this, especially the sanction. You said the government maybe is not giving the accurate statistics, that it could be more as far as the
not
figures.
Good, that's more.
That's more.
I said and I assume it.
Okay, that's more. Yeah. As far as we do the mathematics as of teacher to school ratio, looking at the various villages we have or divisions we have in the north and southwest region that are badly affected by the conflict. Sure. Now, in 2016, when we have the then now Minister of Transport, he paid a series of visits in the north and southwest region as far as galvanizing back to school is concerned. I was with him in Manfe. We left Manfe and moved right up to Boya. We left Boya and went back to Bamenda. We saw how the effort he put in place to beg teachers to teach, but teachers were still unwilling to teach, and the few that were forced to teach kept on repeating one and the same topic. How do you justify that a teacher would decide to go to school and kept on repeating one and the same topic? That's today they will teach photosynthesis, the same day they teach photosynthesis, the same day they teach photosynthesis, and the minister was mad about it and stating that this is not what you were recruited to do. So the teachers on their part, don't they have a responsibility to ensure that they effectively resume school, even not physically, but looking at new ways of teaching? Maybe they can propose it to the government that, hey, these are the new ways we can teach, so that we don't looking at the reality.
Mr. Jarvis, I want to completely disagree with you and your minister, because I'm not sure that when these teachers were teaching in the class.
Are you saying my minister is?
Yeah, no, you just gave me an example that you were in Manfe with this minister, you left from Manfe.
Cameroon minister of
okay.
Education.
Yes, that minister. And first, he is not a pedagogue. That minister can be in my class from morning to evening and he will not understand what I'm teaching, if I have to use pedagogy. It could be that that teacher was doing what we call repetition in pedagogy, which is the mother of pedagogy. Repetition. So when you say a teacher kept repeating the same topic, I don't know how many days you people were with that teacher to find out whether the teacher was repeating only photosynthesis or the teacher was just drawing the leg of a cockroach over the same day.
This same topic was confirmed by the then regional delegate for secondary education, Upper Jones in the Southwest region, who stated that teachers have refused to go to class because they side with the ongoing crisis, and they have decided to be teaching one and the same topic. The students are complaining. So you want to say that Upper Johnson, who is a citizen pedagogue, cannot be able to understand the dynamics?
No, he can be able to understand the dynamics. But in the system where he finds himself, he has to please the master first. All those reports you are saying, I don't want to go into issues that concern my sector directly. But because I don't want somebody to be hurt, they are not doing their job. All these people you are citing here, there are people who sit in their offices in Southwest and they give direct report to Yaoundé with photoshops, making them look like they were on the field, of which they have not been into the field. So, but I don't even think talking about repeating the same topic is what constitutes our topic of the day. What really constitutes our topic of today is 1,000 teachers to be sanctioned.
I was using that as a case study, that this ingredient is because some teachers have decided to be stubborn and have decided to play by their own tenets.
Okay, now let me answer your question before you go to the next panelist. Maybe that particular teacher was having the security enough to even go and repeat the same topic. But in other areas, we have been given the impression that there is total security. But in every second, people are kidnapped. I give you the recent Kumba incident. Do you think that if you were a teacher and the school where the massacre took place in Kumba, the next morning you'll be in school? No, you fear for your life. Do you think if you were in GTHS Fundong, because as I speak now, GBHS Fundong, they have combined all of them. They are confined in GTHS Fundong. And in GTHS Fundong, directly opposite is the SDO's residence. To the nearest left is the gendarmerie. To the nearest right is the police. But teachers still find it difficult to go into that school and teach. Why? Insecurity. Because the so-called Amber Boys will appear, and before they disappear with a teacher. Do you like to be disappeared by these boys? That is why what the teachers fear for. And everybody got a family and his hate to protect. So I think the government security has been there, but it is not enough.
Okay. Prince, Cameroon government now is to sanction these teachers because they have unjustifiable absence. Baku earlier states that the government is their employer and the government has a right to complain if they are not executing their task. If you were in this position of teachers, or what would probably be some of the dynamics that you feel the government can adopt to provide a favorable condition for you to perform your services as teachers in such a way that we don't have a system of sanctions 1,000 teachers?
Yeah, Tamai, thank you very much. I listened carefully to when the other panelists were talking, and I was really touched because what we're talking about is a very sensitive issue, and it concerns education. Education, like I said, is a fundamental human right, and morally, legally, it is something which must be encouraged. But now, coming back to the topic, I want to ask, I know it's not a question, but I just want to say, put this forward. What are the reasons that actually cause these teachers to, first of all, leave school? What are the reasons that made schools not to go functional before you are asking them to go back to school? Those are some of the questions we have to put forward. Now, if these teachers had to leave their job side, which is teaching, because of the crisis, of course, of the insecurity that has been plowing the northwest and southwest region for close to 5 years now. And today, this insecurity has, or this crisis has not been resolved, and you are asking these teachers to go back to school. I don't know what you're putting forth. Now, we just saw the regional elections that passed. You saw those, the councillors, the other people who were going down for campaign. They were going down for campaigns with armored cars and with gun proofs put all over them. You see the mayor of a community going to office with gun proof and accompanied by armored cars, and we know that the people who are being targeted by these belligerents, because that is the word I would like to use, and you used it earlier, I really appreciate it. These belligerents, they target these people. Who are those people that they target in order to ensure that their cry or their plea is being heard? You have teachers, you have politicians, you have students. Now, he made mention of the recent Kumba incident. With how many of those teachers have we had in the Northwest that were being beheaded and their heads were being found around the streets? And Mankong, in how do they call it? In all over the Northwest, especially Bamenda, to be precise, we saw teachers that their heads were beheaded, their heads were being cut off and thrown just to ensure that their secessionist agenda is being heard.
But should it be a case that the same persons who, because most of those who are fighting, if they must have gone to primary school, secondary school, and some who are leading this struggle, the warlords and the generals, have gone to university education. But should we reach at this point where you attack schools, where you make school look like a target and teachers unable to teach the same kids?
Tamai, it is absolutely. When I say absolutely, we refuse this categoricality. It is not something which is supposed to be done. But now you have people in front of you who will do everything humanly possible to make sure that their agenda is being pushed forward. So if it means to kill a child, if it means to burn down their own parents' houses, if it means to destroy whatever thing they can destroy in order to make sure that their cries are being heard, their agendas are being pushed forward, of course they will do it, and education is not left out. So these people at this period where at this point where they are more than beasts, and so you will not expect anything good to come up from them. But now, who are those that are actually victims of this? The teachers, the students, and the likes. Now these people are out there to ensure that their agendas are being pushed forward. The minister herself is out there to ensure that the boss understands that she's doing her job, of which she knows very well that she can't go to Ngokutunja, I bet you. She can't go to Balikumba, she can't go to Bambalang, she can't go to Bamukumbit, she can't go to Muyuka. I mean, Muyuka that is just beside there. She can't go to Kwakwa.
The minister was in Kumba when this after the incident happened.
We're talking about Kumba. You're flying the road to Kumba, being escorted by armored cars. It is different from you going to even. When I say she can't go to Moyoka, I mean what I'm saying. Why? Because going to Moyoka is more dangerous than going to Kumba. You can fly the road to Kumba, but you going to Moyoka, let's take the Owe 1, Owe 2. Can she go to Owe 1 and Owe 2? Of course, no. She goes to Kumba. Where in Kumba? At the where he's being guarded by all the security at the Dios residence? No. So we have to understand that these people have to also acknowledge what is going on, and we have to face the reality. We don't campaign, we don't champion for the belligerents to actually do what they are doing, but that is what they are doing. And you and I seated here today, we don't have what it takes to actually stop them, because I know if we had it, we'll actually do that. What we can do is to put our voices together. But those people who are saying that teachers should go back to school, they have what it takes to actually stop. They had the national dialogue, which was a failure. They talked about special teaching, which is a failure. They talk about disarmament centers, which I will tell you is a 40% failure right up to this. So how do you expect that you championing back to school where you know the reasons, the root causes of why these teachers are out of school? It is still very much alarming.
Root causes now. Because
Well,
the original plan of action
of course.
of the teachers,
Yeah,
as
of course.
stated by Cameroon's government, was that most of their demands, as far as the interministerial committee is concerned in Bamenda, that most of their demands were made a part of the demands of a return to a two-state federation, which the Gogomo-led commission states that it is not within their capacity to talk about the return of a two-state federation. And that was why it was diverted now to where we are today. But looking at it, the government says that they have redeployed teachers, they have given subvention of 2 billion francs CFA, they have ensured that they reach an accelerated decentralization, as they call it, they have ensured that they reach a special status to come, they've ensured that regional election takes place so that things can take its form, and Disarmament and Demobilization Commission has been able to reintegrate former fighters or people who keep dropping their arms to the government. The government has released people like they released Abu Balan, Congo Felix, and a couple of others. And you say the government actions are failing, so teachers are unable to teach.
Tamai, thank you. I like the sincerity of when you were putting all these words, but there is a concluding statement where we have to now debate about it, because they say that at the onset, who are those that actually began this thing? They were the teachers. Have the cries of the teachers been heard in reality? Of course, no. Let's go to the root cause. No, it hasn't been heard. But coming back to what we are saying, this minister is asking these people to go back to work. I would not even want to dwell to that, because most of the televiewers out there already know what is happening and they know the reality. But what I want to divert to is the fact that you are even asking these people to go back to school and teach. What are they going to teach these students? To still continue teaching about Mongo Park? This is another thing which we must look at. We must not just remain at the level of going back to teach. What are they going to teach these students? Thank you very much for having introduced me as an award winner. I won an international award on Friday, Pan-African award, and same year I want to also congratulate you because you also won this a similar award. I think 2 of them, one on Friday and another one yesterday, which I really want to congratulate you for that, for your hard work and the like. But what is what is that category that actually won the award in? Entrepreneurship. What is entrepreneurship? It is about sustainability. It's about creating wealth, not by having someone employing you, but you trying to create employment for others, trying to see that you can have that creativity to bring out something which can actually help other people, not only to be very simple, not only by depending on salaries or civil service and the likes. Okay. Now, these teachers, and actually you're asking them to go back. What are they going to teach these children? Because this is something which Cameroonians must actually know. We have to
the last phase of now looking at the educational sector.
Okay.
I want us to stay. Bakujut, again, we have some zones. We understand that there is conflict ongoing, but the conflict in some areas have actually died or reduced. The tension or the violence have reduced. Let's look at this key aspect. Some teachers have decided, especially when there was no crisis, to abscond from their duties, to go to greener pastures. And we had a lot of ghost teachers at the time. When I remember in 2016, before the crisis, when the government had published lists of teachers who have absconded their duties and yet still collecting salary. Now the crisis came, it was a favor for more to join them, that, we don't want to teach, there is conflict. And now in other areas that we have a relative calmness, is it not time for the teachers to say, okay, let's teach and get these young Cameroonians to get the knowledge? For 4 years now, Bakujud, 8 regions have been active, and these 8 regions have graduated at least a class of a university. Those children now will be integrated into the job market. Our kids in the North and Southwest region have been for these 4 years without these same positions. Now, if we are to have a job or an effective decentralization, as they call it, or a federal system, as many are advocating for, or even a restoration, it therefore means that we'll have to import people from the rest of the region to come and work as masters while we remain as slaves.
Jeff, the issue with schools and teachers is it's still it's a global issue engulfed in the ongoing crisis, which you can also not separate from other uncomfortable situations. Like last week we had elections, and you must have heard that the same CPDM party is intending to penalize councillors
Who did not
who
vote?
did not vote. It's in the same setup. We've had in the Northwest region where the governor, Adolphe Afrique, is stopping Doctors Without
Borders from operating.
stating that they are treating, according to what we hear, they are not showing to them people who are considered to be separatist fighters and with arms.
But is it their job to show
That is a debate for another day.
separatist fighters?
So, that's a debate for another day. So what I'm saying is these issues are not involved just in the educational sector.
Okay.
There are other sectors that are affected, and it's engulfed in the ongoing Anglophone crisis. But if we're to zoom back again on the issues of the teachers, 1,000 teachers by government on government payroll. Now we have even more of such teachers who are of the private sector in those regions, and nobody is saying anything about them. No one is thinking about them. Some of them are IDPs in many of these regions, struggling to get jobs. Some of them are jobless in the Northwest and Southwest region. No one is saying anything about it. No one cares about them because they are of the private sector. But you know, it's like this journalism. It's like for some of us here in this teaching thing is like for some of us here in journalism. Remember that when you're with the state broadcaster, most of these guys who work with the state broadcaster, they've often come under criticisms. They have often come under attack for neglecting the population in their reporting narrative. And what we've often done most of the times is to draw the attention of the people or the population to understand that you can also abandon the job when it's not moving.
Yes, when it's not flexible.
When it's not flexible. It's your right as a government teacher, if your government is forcing you to work in a school where you cannot work, yeah, retire from the... We don't have the culture in Cameroon to give up our jobs or to resign. I don't know why, if you think that it's not comfortable teaching, then tell the government that it's not comfortable, we have security challenges, I'm dropping off the job. Because when you insist to collect government money and you don't execute the task, government has the right, with its own program and agenda, to force you to go teach. Government has adopted a pro-education agenda even in the midst of the crisis. And there's no way you as a teacher, you work against it. So that you should have at the back of your mind. Government claims that there is security everywhere. Where there is no security, ask for us to give you security. So if you are not asking, the worst is that you can be, if you're a principal and you're supposed to lead a school, you are absent from duty. Who do you expect? True, those areas have, Jebis, I have, last year I did a survey on, well, I talked to a lot of teachers from the Northwest and Southwest regions on their challenges as far as teaching or back to school was concerned. And surprisingly, let me reveal to you that there are many teachers who are anti-school. You understand? They don't want, many teachers who didn't want schools or who don't want schools, they buy the agenda of the separatists. These are things we must say them.
And that's why the government is mad about it.
Government has to be mad about it. Government is not genuine. Government has a poor agenda, true. But the teachers as well, most of them that I have talked with, most of them who quarrel with me for saying that schools should go, that their security is at stake. It's true, their security is at stake, but they have also bought an anti-school agenda because they believe that they could run other activities and pretend under the canopy of
still receive their salaries
and still receiving salaries. And it is a dangerous way. It is the way we've built society. The way we've created, we've lived our society, we've left it porous in a way that everyone wants to be dubious. We have very dubious teachers who still work with that mindset of thinking that they can use the crisis, like many people are using the crisis for their benefit. They run their shops, they go to the market, they do other businesses, and starve these children from teaching them. But I think in such a situation, teachers can be dynamic in a war zone. Teachers can be dynamic in dishing out studies to these children. I mean, with the coronavirus pandemic, we realized that schools were not operational at one point when government stopped schools.
Yes.
But classes were on.
Yes.
GCE and other examinations were written. How did they do it? Can government also be able to strategize in a way that education can be...
It's not only centered on you must come to the four walls of
the
classroom before.
Yes, with the coronavirus, we realized that many things changed. And can government strategize to ensure that education can still go ahead even in the midst of the crisis? That's why when Prince Louis is talking about the quality of education we have and where our mindsets are, the setup which we have as far as education is concerned needs to be refined. When somebody says our educational system is bad or needs to be upgraded, that person is saying it surely from a very critical point. We've built our mindset in a very funny kind of approach when it comes to education, in a way that everybody, all of us, we need a unanimous change in the way we view education and in the quality of education we dish out. Because most of our educators, from the pedagogy, from the ministries right down to the teachers, they have a curriculum which needs to be refined. Not to talk of the children they teach. You understand? So we can build up a network, a system, a good system, that even in the midst of the crisis, we can still teach these children like we taught them, even with the coronavirus pandemic. You understand? So, but why is it not happening? When you come to a classroom, you're obliged to have what we used to have, what they call the Kaele text, where you have to sign. To
Course register.
Yes, yeah. Course register, to prove that you were in class as a teacher. Now, with modern technology, where we can still have Zoom classes, Zoom meetings, people can still dish out courses and you tick them as a principal. You tick them, okay, you were in class today online. Okay, we scheduled a strategic meeting and you were able to attend. Those are security methods, strategies you can adopt in the situation of war. We must not want to have a teacher reach his head and come into a classroom to be shot and killed. We are just, the fun is, government just to a larger extent.
You are a firm advocate for back to school, and the government is saying that they have provided adequate security, especially for those in the hardest hit area. So what then could be keeping these teachers, apart of the fact that you articulated that some of them don't want to teach because they want to focus on their other jobs, and now in those others sector which they claim that they want to teach, there's no security. The government says that provided security for them to teach. Why don't they still want to teach, or the security from their own viewpoint is still inadequate?
Government can never provide security for schools. I said this even before the Mataba incident that happened in Kumba. Every moment I talked about schools, I keep saying it that you cannot never rest on the shoulders of government. Even as an ordinary citizen, as a citizen in the Northwest and Southwest region, you can never say you are resting on government for security. That security cannot come. Security comes when everybody can, when you can do your activities without the threat in itself. So the same moment that threat is there, there will be no security. Government cannot station a policeman to guide all the children in class and guide them back home and bring them at every point. Security can never be enough. So it's about us. It's about us accepting first that this security will never be there, and then about the population accepting that, okay, this is what we need. We need education for these children. It is your community. You're talking about, you're talking here, after this war, we need all these communities to develop. After this war, we need a bridge in your village, in whether in Way or in Fontaine, in whatever part of the Northwest and Southwest. We need children who are engineers in this community. Every community needs to sit back. If you're a teacher from that community, if you're a wolf from that community, you need to sit back and you strategize on how you can help this sector, the educational sector, advance. It is not necessarily government that will come and tell us how to, that we need education. So government is doing it for its political agenda to claim that everything is fine. It will necessarily not be the interest of the child. Government does not necessarily have an individual interest in the child, but to push forward its political agenda. It is for every community now to see what do we need in future. How do we evaluate as from the basic unit of the family, of society, the family, to the quarter, to the community, the village. How do we put our efforts together to ensure that we develop? And the first principal aspect is education. So what I'm saying at the end of the day is government has its agenda. And if the teachers, 1,000 plus, are not comfortable with the government's agenda, there's one thing they should do. You resigned. We were told one of our mentors, I'll not mention the name here, told us sometimes that if you are reporting for a media structure, especially like our very own state media, the CRTV, and you feel that their editorial policy is leading you to do poor journalism, to lie, to do propaganda and all that, and to side with wrong government agenda and all that, you have one choice. We don't have the culture of resigning.
Okay.
Resign if it's not moving.
So maybe I want to add something to what Baku is actually saying.
So
It's really something very powerful, because when you look at the incident of Kumba, you realize that this school, I don't know if it's Mother Teresa, yes, Mother Francisca, you see where this school is located. It's been at the four corners. That's all around the school is being it's under security. At the other side, you see. No, when I say under security, it means that about a kilometer from the school, you have a police control, you have the joint battalion control.
Let me paint you a picture of Mother. I was at Mother Teresa.
Of course.
Well, I went back to do an investigative report on Mother Teresa. Mother Teresa is located in that Fiangu,
yes.
And from the main road of Fiangu, you enter the quarters, you go straight to the quarters, and that area where it is located is not well developed. We still have parchments we still have farmlands and left and right. So
what is the distance between the security and the?
Like Baku said, security can never be enough. You can never.
Of course. And what was actually the reason given by the minister that they did not declare at the end of at the start of the year that the school was functioning? That is not a reason. It's a way to tell us that these people have an agenda they are pushing for. I listened carefully to the minister the other day on the radio, who actually said they are going to make sanction on these teachers because if they don't go back to school, and they want to foster the agenda where, despite the fact that the COVID-19 is still persisting, they are going to ensure that they have 50 students per class and the like. I don't know if we live in China here or we are living in Japan.
Back to you.
Because we have to understand this. If these people don't want to put the real agenda, if they don't want to do the right thing, let them stop killing, they stop destroying Cameroonians, they stop destroying these young people who are coming up. Because we all know what is going on. You have a class where you have more than 300 and 200 students per class, and you're telling us 50 students. And what is really wrong with these people? That is what we have to look at. You have to be honest.
Let's get to the room. Hi, happy Sunday to you in the panel, Mr. Taj Jarvis. The regime can sacrifice everyone in order to end the crisis in the northwest and southwest regions. Coming from Chin Clinton, Ekam Berigny from Douala. This one says, "Good day, Jarvis. Common government shouldn't take shortcut to solve the Anglophone problem. These teachers will go to classroom if the security situation improves. To show that the situation is under control, let the minister drive alone in the conflict-hit area of the northwest and southwest region." Ngole Hane from Limbe. This one really says, "Good day, sir. I am that Karisengam, writing from Chang. Seriously, the sanction of 1,000 teachers is really something to be looked into seriously. There are more than 1,000 teachers in the north and southwest region. My problem is, will the sanction end the crisis?" I think it goes in line with what you were struggling to paint about the statistics of the teachers. Good day, panelists. I am Atabe Lent, writing from Suza. Please, in respect of the Anglophone crisis, I think the government should focus more on bringing a lasting solution to the problem. Sanctioning teachers may instead aggravate an already existing problem. Without absolute security in the north and southwest region, of the teachers will always find it difficult to return to their respective areas of post. And this other one reads, it says, hi Jarvis, you should consider every point that has made teachers to run away from their duties. There is war in North and Southwest region. Secondly, before the crisis, thousands of teachers never kept to their functions. Some teachers spend more time in their private jobs than in the government assignment. Some teachers from every region have already abandoned their job and travel abroad. For teachers to abandon their duties is not new thing. There are ghost teachers as well. I think that goes to what Mbaku you were equally pointing there as far as this is concerned. Diwum, you listen to some of the messages. You want to react before I get you on the question?
No, I think we have very mature viewers, and I really commend them.
I think there's one I skipped somewhere on. Let me just briefly take on that one so that you can react to on it. I think that one is coming from Madame Esther from Yaoundé. They say good afternoon and happy Sunday to everyone in the house. Jarvis, thank you very much for this great topic because it deals with the future of our children. For those who target teachers, God will pay them.
Yes, God will certainly pay them, but before God pays them, God will pay those who caused those teachers to leave the classrooms. We should not think that because you are a teacher, you become a sacrificial lamb. No. You see, when I listened to Mr. Mbaku, I was very satisfied with what he was saying. But at one point in time, when he said, "Take your pen and resign if you see that it's not going," it really beat my imagination, because these old ministers who have actually been serving themselves, who have not been at the service of Cameroonians, are the ones I think should pick up their pens and resign. Maybe starting from the presidency. They are the cause of the problems of this nation. A poor teacher will not just pick up a pen, resign, because he was running away to preserve his life.
Are you aware that teachers in Cameroon, especially from the public sector, receive more salaries than some other sectors?
That is by the labor code. And I should remind you again that the only sector in Cameroon that do not have other multiple avenues for stealing is the teaching corps. And I weigh my words.
But we have teachers selling textbook every day. We have teachers giving marks every
that one,
we have sexually transmissible marks. We have teachers forcing, especially universities, teachers forcing that you must buy a handout before you write an exam or a CA. And we have other unorthodox way that is for the primary school, you must go and work on the teacher's farm before, especially in those villages, before you are allowed to sit in for an exam. And you say they don't have multiple avenues for cheating.
No, I don't subscribe to those ideologies.
But are you saying that these things don't exist? Are you saying that they don't exist?
No,
is it yes or no?
They do exist in the higher education.
No, in the yes or no, they don't exist even in secondary education, in secondary school, especially in the villages where teachers force children to go and do work in their farms in the villages.
That one doesn't exist any longer. It used to exist.
Okay.
But it doesn't exist.
But there are teachers who take 100 francs, 200 francs.
Yes, 200 francs for manual labor. For handwork.
I doubt how
do they use that amount? 100, 200, something 300.
When you talk about I'm so much concerned about the university level, where we have political professors that they don't even know what it means to burn the midnight candle to be there, so they can do all what we are doing. But we still have genuine teachers in this country.
Likewise, we still have genuine ministers and we still have genuine parliamentarians.
No. In this regime, we don't have any genuine minister. I told you here last Sunday that in this very regime, even if there was to be a genuine minister, the genuine minister ends within the confines of his bedroom. Out of that bedroom, you go according to the principles of the CPDM, CPDM Bible. If you don't practice the commandments of the CPDM Bible, you cannot be in this government. So they are bound to do what is wrong. And we are dealing with a government that have been doing from one wrong action to the other. So you wouldn't expect the teacher to get back to the class and be killed. Whereas the minister, before he goes to Bamenda, all the routes are filled with the military. Some of these government officials even sleep with bulletproofs. What do you think a poacher? Let me tell you my last experience in Bamenda. I was to visit the commissioner of special branch Bamenda in one of the sectors. When he heard that I was coming, he was well aware that I was coming. When I knocked at the door has been doubled with the iron that been put with the police vans that are circulating in Bamenda. He looked through the door, even though he knew that I was the one. He was with a gun. When he opened and I entered, he locked. That's the fear of being killed. And I don't remember any day that a meeting was held where guns were distributed to these teachers and gun proofs. So that at least they know that if I'm shot from the hand, I will not be killed. If I'm shot by the chest, that is all about me. All these people, one thing should be clear. We have always been for the fact that children should go back to school. Teachers should get back to classroom. But they should get back to classroom under a conducive atmosphere. In an atmosphere that, because our tears, our eyes are already dry. All our tears has gone out. They have to go back into the classroom under security and assurance. And I want to make you understand that in this present...
But do you have teachers that actually will say they have applied for security and the government has not provided?
No, that's a wrong... Since I know you, that's the wrong question. The only wrong question you have ever...
No, I'm asking.
Is a teacher supposed to apply for security?
The government says that if you feel threatened, you have to request for security.
No, I've not heard that one before. And I think, as the right of the government, every citizen has to be protected by the government. No citizen has to go apply. Is the teacher above? If the teacher is applying for security, my own mother who goes to the farm and is being threatened, who goes to a meeting and is on everything, where will she also apply for her own security?
So the people and even the students should also apply for
security. It means that the students in school, the learners should apply for security.
But must we always only blame the government for not providing security, or the state actors for not respecting Geneva Convention? Because these are the same people who will tell you that the Geneva Convention must be respected, the Geneva Convention must be respected. But when it comes to I see us wanting to lay more blames on the government. But why not looking at our brothers in the eyes and say, hey, you should not touch those teachers and allow those teachers not to be used as political weapons? Because our brothers are the ones who have given these teachers as political weapons to the government.
All of us on this platform has criticized these our brothers. Can you go and criticize them in Norwest and come up? Then you'll not find me in this program again. Can you go to the camps where these boys are? Because the last time I was in Com, I struggled to speak with some of these boys. But one of them called me from behind and told me that, hey, young man, your road to Douala will not be safe. Say everything, but don't mention the word drop down the weapons. This is what they told me. We can discuss everything.
Okay, they met you along the way as you were going to your village.
Yes. I struggled to speak to them. They told me that, hey, young man, you can say everything, but that last word should never come out of your mouth again. You did not give us a gun. We can discuss on everything, but if you tell us again that drop the gun, we will drop you first.
That's extremism.
Yes.
But should we reach at that point where you don't even allow the teachers to teach?
I am asking my government, Mr. Government, the government official, it is time you people should accept that no. We passed all our time fooling Cameroonians that everything was under control. Now that the Cameroonians, the eyes of the Cameroonians have opened this far, we are telling you people that no, look, we will resign. As my brother was saying that teachers should resign. I rather prefer that the government officials who have spent most time fooling us, they should resign. And by resigning, I think it will give a leeway to those who are, because there are capable people in this country that can solve this crisis without taking 4 years or 4 months.
Let me ask you a question. Do you want to tell me that if the government decide that all teachers will be paid in their school campuses, we will not have these teachers find themselves inside the school
No,
campus.
not all of them will go. They will not go. let me good. You have provoked something. I want to tell you that the government is not calling these teachers to be on their duty post to teach. They are calling them to just come there so that the government should carry it as a form of propaganda that we have control over the teachers. Take for example, in GS Fundong, they have said that all the teachers around should be coming and signing their the text as they will say it, their present yes, every morning. And in this area, the separatists are not far from where the forces of law and others are, and they know themselves. The teachers are unable to leave Atoina to come down, which is 5-minute walk on legs, to GS Fundong to sign their presence. And you tell me that the government knows that there are no people in that school. In GS Fundong, there are no people.
But if I may add that, yes. Even, and we keep championing for the teachers to come back. Where are the students?
Where are the students?
The students are in the benches. And the villages.
Tamai, well, let's face reality. Most of these things are aggravating because we don't want to face
what do you mean by reality?
The reality on the ground, all the televiewers out there know the reality. Most of those people are no longer there because they are running for their life, just like the teachers are doing the same. But we have to, if we don't accept these realities, which are things that we see on the ground, we realize that it is absolutely will not live from the position which we are. It is the reality. But one thing I want to say is we should even this debate of should teachers sanction or not, we should leave it aside and look at even the educational system itself, which we are. That is where I'm more concerned, because to be honest, in some I know and I pray God, in some few years to come, 1 or 2 years to come, this situation will be fixed. That is what we all want.
I think
it will be fixed. But when it will be fixed,
we'll take on a break. When we come back, we'll continue with the program.
Thank you.
Welcome back from that transition.
We have been talking about this, going back to school. We've been talking about all these things. It's true. Each and every one of us here is championing going back to school. But it's high time we sit back and ask ourselves, even this school that we are asking students to go back, what are the curriculum? What is the content of the curriculum? What are they actually going to learn back? That is what we must acknowledge. Because like I was saying before, we all are praying and we know and we wish that in some few months or year, 1 or 2 years, this thing should come to an end. It should come to a total end. That is what we all want. But when it comes to an end, where are we heading to with the curriculum? This must be looked at. I think this should be a topic for a debate someday, which I am pleading on this platform that it should be looked at. The school curriculum in Cameroon, whether the Anglo-Saxon system or the French system of education, we must revisit them. Because if we don't do this, you realize that we'll keep graduating how do we call it?
Job seekers.
No, not even job seekers. We keep graduating people who will be unemployed. Because what happens when you graduate 10,000?
Let me come. Let me ask you my question.
Go
you are
ahead.
a social entrepreneur, and don't you think that the teachers still need to upgrade themselves and look for other avenues in which you can teach these same kids and participate in lessons, like Bako earlier pointed out, without necessarily coming to the four walls of the classroom. The teachers themselves only solely believe that they must come through the four walls of the classroom. We have not seen teachers' trade union proposing solutions as to how to resolve teaching in a conflict zone, and to even help government and private sector say, okay, private sector, we teachers trade union feel the pain of teachers not going to school, especially the government teachers not being able to teach, receiving salary. So we are proposing that maybe the government adopt a Zoom session, maybe the government decide a policy that from 3 to Form 4 you have an Android phone that you can participate on Zoom classroom, because we have even from class 7 children now with Android phones, class 6 children now with Android phones, and class 5 with Android phones. What if we say, okay, we remobilize Cameroon government, you can share the laptops that children can be participating? I know internet, some will say internet is a problem, but let's start from somewhere.
Yeah, you're right, Tamai. That is why I always say
but
this. Cameroonians are very brilliant people, they are very loving people, they are peaceful people. But the problem is with the system. Like I always say, the CPDM Bible. You know why do I call it the Bible? Because it's something which will never be revised. Look, people have that willingness, they have that zeal to actually do what we are saying, to take on Zoom conferences. But what is the income of a local citizen there in Balikumbat, in Bafanji, in Bambalang, in Dop, in Baba 1, Baba 2? Are they able to even have credit to call? Do they even have the cell phone before you're talking about Zoom? Do they even know what is Zoom?
Permanent electricity?
What the money just a few months behind, we heard the president gave money, I think it was 2 or 3 billion to be distributed for internet connection to be inserted in school. I want to bet you, even in the universities, those things have not been met. Those criteria which have been put forward. It is a system which, I don't know, the Bible system, which a lot of things must be done. We have these Cameroonians with this good mindset to do all these things. They have the zeal. They're willing to do it. But the system doesn't permit them. Just like they are saying that students should go back to school. The minister is preaching, teachers go back and teach in these war zones. How do you want teachers to go back and preach in the war zones? It's the same way the minister will come forth and tell you, we'll give you internet, of which in the next 5 years, 6 years, you will not see any internet. We talked about a laptop. You know, you talked about entrepreneurship. Why will you have a minister of higher education who will decide to remove 75 billion francs, my brother, to buy calculators for students? That is what. No,
let's look at it.
Of course,
what you call the calculator? I use those laptops and they are effective.
Tamai, I also had.
I
also had one.
No, I also wanted. It was effective because 32 giga.
Yes, 500 giga.
No, gentlemen.
It is some of these things that make us not to advance.
Let's get this straight. The laptops, the Pobia laptop for higher educational vision, when you are using it for Word documents, to type your Word document and to do online learning, it's effective.
Yeah.
Let's not rubbish it. It's effective. We have universities that are using it. My university, Kali University, is using it. It's effective.
We don't refuse all this. Let me just drop it. Yes. I don't refuse it that it's effective. But what is the lifespan? I want to go back there and not leaving that aside. The minister, why will you remove 75 billion francs to buy where you could use that money to with about 30 billion you could build a factory to do that? Okay. Those are some of the things that we have to look at.
I think the issue, we all agree that there is exorbitant billing of the laptops. We all agree that the quality, the operating system is a good one. But let me say, let me not waste a lot of time in the laptop issue. Because we're talking about the 1,000 teachers. But let me say this.
It's in line. It's a
this issue,
yeah, of course.
This issue of schools and the teachers, like I said earlier, it is global in the whole crisis that we are facing. And Jervis, you made mention earlier of the Geneva Convention.
Yes.
The Geneva Convention, which normally supposed to be the guide in times like this, a guide in times of war. And one of the things Cameroonians don't master is laws of war that are enshrined in that convention. That is why you see things happening haphazardly. Educational system is being hit like this, like teachers are being sanctioned for political motives, government political motives. Government wants to prove political prowess. That's why teachers are being penalized. In times like this, our role is supposed to be teaching, helping to teach and sensitize people on a lot of issues. Mr. Ndimir said earlier there that he was coming back from the village or something, and then those boys told him that you must not say some things. No, you have to say those things and keep saying them, educating them, because one child, one soul that leaves that bush unto salvation, God rewards you.
Even at the detriment of his life?
No, I'm saying that if you can preach that peace,
okay,
and they drop the weapon, they are saying that I should not talk about dropping of weapons. If you can preach that peace to them, and somebody drops his weapon that maybe he would have gone for war and be killed, and that soul is saved, God gives you a crown. I believe so much that what we lack now is more of teaching people, converting people to leave their radicalized mindset, and everyone is radicalized, even the government. So what I'm thinking is we need to continually teach everybody the right values, the right societal values, the right values of livelihood. It begins from us and right through to that government. Government needs to understand its role in that convention.
Baku, in as much as it needs to respect that, I want us to stay by the context of 1,000 teachers. The teachers' trade union seemingly should be able to propose new ways of learning, but they are quiet.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that the problem is not that they are really quiet per se. The problem is that government has a political program which it is imposing. It is imposing that political program because the teachers have come out many times to cry foul. It's not like they are silent about it. They have come out many times to cry foul. And most of them have lived the coronavirus era. They can teach online lessons. It's not even about data. There are students who can afford their 100 francs data and take the lessons for the day. But government will still not be willing for them to use that because government has its political agenda. That's why I'm saying that in the wartime like this, government has its own responsibility, which it must assume in quelling down the crisis. You don't have to sit at every point to claim that you have total control. Because what they are fighting now is to prove to the world, like Emmanuel is saying, to prove to the world that they have total control of this schools, of these institutions. Because remember that schools is the hallmark of the separatist agenda. The schools is their stronghold. So if government has schools running effectively, it must have succeeded in beating this aspect. That's why government is pushing that political agenda. It has shifted from an academic something or educational something to a political thing, which is very dangerous.
Okay.
Government has a responsibility to be very fair in this process. In a wartime like this, we have to begin to educate the same government. Let the government not think that it knows everything. No, there are ill-fated people in the government. They are intellectuals. They know the right values, but their minds are not in consonance to the right values.
Talking about intellectual honesty.
They have intellectual dishonesty. So they need, despite what they have in their brains, academically, they need to put in their minds, in their souls, in their hearts, the need of the future generation.
Okay.
And if you consider the future generation, you will struggle to settle this issue with the teachers. Because no matter, if we were to look at the ratio, 1,000 teachers, if you go in this 1,000 teachers, 95, close to 95% have genuine concerns. We may have some few cases here and there that yes, that they are struggling to put, but they have genuine concerns of security.
Okay.
So government should factor this very seriously and keep aside their political agenda.
Good afternoon, Mr. Jarvis. This is Wholesale from Tiku. The government to sanction 1,000 teachers will instead cripple the academic system in the Anglophone region. It will instead make students and pupils dull the more. It is not the fault of the teachers to leave this classroom. It's fear of the unknown, and they need protection. And Anglophone crisis, and everything will be okay. And this one reads, it says, seriously, it's damn writing from Chang. Seriously, the sanction of 1,000 teachers is really something to be looked into. It says, okay, I think we've charged that, sending that message twice. Happy Sunday to you all. I am Ken Julius from Yaoundé. I think the government should stop sacrificing teachers for their personal interests. How much do teachers receive as salary in Cameroon? And what if the teachers decide to resign? This other one reads, it says, Happy Sunday to you all in the studio. We all know the situation at hand. The government can never provide security for everyone, being the teachers or students. Let the government do what it's supposed to do and stop politicizing over something they know well fully that it cannot work. If the Minister of Education can move all parts of Northwest and Southwest in the past to show that there's a smooth functioning and adequate security to motivate the teachers, I think that it will be good rather than giving an ultimatum for an effective resumption in their various areas to start teaching when they all know it's not safe. It's coming from Wanyang Jude, writing from Yaoundé. This other one reads, it says, good afternoon and happy Sunday to all those of you in the studio. I want to say that I enjoy the program and more grace to your able. Thank you. This one reads, it says, good afternoon, brothers. You guys are doing a good job. May God bless you all. Is Ibrahim Babangida from Santa. Good afternoon to you all in the studio. I am Nyandi Charles, writing from Yaoundé. The idea of sanctioning these teachers is good because people are using this as a means to exploit their country financially, but still withstanding what are they going to teach the students or pupils? Is there only stuff that there is only old stuff that is being taught? This one reads, it says, good afternoon to you all. My regards to you in the studio. Please, only the truth will solve the problem. We should get to the root causes and everything will be okay. This one reads, if you know how to read and write in your country, do your best. Time wait for nobody. Most of those people need education. We are slowly but surely coming to an end of today's edition of our program. To all those of you watching us online, it's incumbent for us to at least read a few of your comments such that we will definitely do justice. This one reads, greetings from this end, Mr. Jarvis. It's coming from Hukong Tony. This other one from Mark Amos Andy says, security, if everything was under control, ministers and politicians wouldn't be going to the field with military. Who is this fooling who? Yeah, nonsense. Please avoid those languages now. The basic responsibility of every government is the protection of lives and property. So the government has to focus on the safety of her citizens, especially the safety of teachers. This other one coming from Dingwongi Henry says, new method of paying teachers in Cameroon. They should be paid in schools, campuses per period as well. This one says from Franco Nji, at least there is improvement in your submission. The topic is known. Please, I propose that we should remind the viewers and teachers of clicking. We should know before. Okay, I think I get your point. This one says, hello, nice program. Keep your good work. This one coming from Paddy Stanley, the basic responsibility. I think we've read that before. All those of you who are watching us on Facebook, want to say happy Sunday to all those of you watching on Facebook. I think we are slowly but surely coming to an end of this program. Before we take leave of you, Ndiwum Emmanuel, last word?
Well, my last word is that what actually sent teachers out of the classroom has not yet been solved. I think from the beginning of this program, I said I borrowed from the words of Abraham Lincoln in his letter to his son's teacher, that we should learn, teach him to know that for every enemy there is a friend. The separatists have gone gaga because the government from the beginning was not genuine. They started by saying that there was no problem. And they started by sending the ministers to say we shall arrest all the dogs. They started by calling us dogs. We shall kill every dog found on the street. Now, when we want to end a war, we don't count corpses. I think my humble opinion is that let the government take a fair stance. Let me borrow from my brother.
We are out of time, man.
Let me borrow from my brother there. Take a fair stand invite everybody to the table. Only dialogue, only genuine dialogue, heart to heart, shall solve this problem.
Thank you.
Not the gun.
Before we take leave of you, Prince Kotem, your last word.
Yeah, thank you, Jarvis. Like Njiwo actually said, I will join voice with him. The courses, what actually send the teachers out of class should be regulated before they asking them to come into class. And there is another plea which I want to send forth, is that this government should be able to adjust and to look into the academic curriculum, because it's something which must be diverted towards entrepreneurship and towards technological advancement rather than the sea road to India that we know and the other things. These people we have to look forward, because Cameroon is one and we all have the responsibility to build Cameroon. Only when we have good minds and good set and put party politics aside, then we'll be able to construct and better construct our nation. Nation building is something which we all must actually value. God bless Cameroon.
Thank you. Before we take leave of you, your last word.
Yes, Jarvis, I want to appreciate you for coming up with this topic and to say that the teachers are just suffering from what every other Cameroonian in the northwest or southwest, most of those sectors.
It's like this, the businessman, or you open your shop, or the government seal the shop,
yes.
or you open it, the non-state armed group comes and get the shop.
That's right. So the general call or plea I will make is that they go back to the document you referred earlier, the Geneva Convention. It guides us on what to do in times of wars, and schools, set up education and all those things, hospitals, and they are supposed to be neutral grounds. No one is supposed to touch them. Teachers are not supposed to be affected. Students are supposed to be let to go to school, and the fighters have to understand what they need. Those fighting, they have to understand what the Geneva Conventions on Wars say, so that you don't find yourselves going to the International Criminal Court at the end of the day. Remember again, as every society, whether a freedom fighter, whether a separatist fighter, amber fighter, whatever you call yourself, every community at the end of the day will need development. And you need bridges in your community, you need hospitals, you need schools, you need children who are ministers, diplomats in those communities. Tomorrow, don't go to blame the next village and you're hating people from the next village who have ministers, who have diplomats at the United Nations and all that. So you have the responsibility to guide your own community to ensure that children are educated. As for the quality of education, like Koten is saying, we'll talk that some other time and see how we can advance. Just to appreciate you again for your award, and honestly, the job you guys are doing here is so beautiful. We wish that you will keep up with the good work, and all of you who had awards from this end, God bless you all.
Thank you. God bless all those of you watching My Media Prime. We swept a couple of awards across the nation and international scene. That was on Saturday, and on Friday and Saturday we had the best program for the year that was given to Maluku, hosted by Tata Faith, the best host of the year, and the best peace journalist was given to Mr. Kumyonat. We have the best investigative journalist that was given to Mr. Taj Jarvis Mai, and we had the most courageous journalist, Lasha Kingsley. The most the best news presenter was given to Pierre Jim Blanche, which is from all My Media Prime, the best most emerging TV station in Cameroon, My Media Prime. And the similar award was Panafest Award, which took place in Decca Hotel, and another award took place in Boya, a Southwest region, the Parliamentary Hotel. That was Jim's FM Award, which was given to I think the best journalist for the year was given to Mr. Kumyonat, again on still that same category. The best program Prime R took that same category, and the best TV stations emerging, My Media Prime, and my humble self again, I was given another award as the best conflict reporter. That's just to let you know that My Media Prime is moving forward and forward. So hoping to see you on next edition. Until then, no matter the matter, what matter is your matter. No matter the matter, what matter is your matter. And what should matter for you this day is that you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. The truth is God. You can only kill the teller and not the truth. When you kill the teller, the truth remains to haunt you. My name is Tamai Jarvis from Feng Gujom Bange, Bonamusali, Cameroon's economic capital, Douala. Bye-bye.